All right, we're
I
going.
don't know how this
We're
works.
3 minutes over time here.
We're live.
Great. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Bound Brooks Board of Education meeting for tonight. I'll get started with some procedural stuff, read our Public Meetings Act, and then I'm going to turn the floor over to Dr. Freeman and hopefully recognize some of our fantastic students of the month as well as our educators of the month tonight. Really looking forward to that. So the boring stuff, sorry. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies, at which time any business affecting their interests is discussed and acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act and our own Board of Education Policy 0162, the Board of Education of the Borough of Bound Brook has caused notice of this meeting to be posted in the board office and at Bound Brook High School and mailed or faxed to the Courier News, Bound Brook Borough, South Bound Brook Board of Education, and any person who has requested individual notice and paid the required fee. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Gorski, can we do a roll call, please? Sir.
Mr. Bell.
Here.
Mr. Dawson.
Here.
Ms. Casino.
Here.
Ms. Lima. Mr. Minhas.
Here.
Mr. Zupko. Mr. Januzzi.
Here.
Ms. Musin. Mr. Board President, you have a quorum present this evening.
Great. Dr. Freeman, over to you.
Good evening, everyone in our audience and online. Welcome you to our November board meeting. Tonight is a very special night. Tonight we begin the tradition of recognizing our staff, outstanding staff members and students. So at this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Santos Sharma to Dr. S. to introduce the honor school outstanding students.
Thank you.
Let's have a hand for Dr. S.
Good evening. Congratulations to Oliver Mahia Navidad in Mrs. Bates' class. Oliver has two older sisters, Tanya is in 2nd grade and Madeline is in 5th grade. Oliver enjoys answering all of the teachers' questions during morning meeting. He also loves to work in the table toys area with his friends. When Oliver grows up, he'd like to be a police officer. Congratulations, Oliver. He's not feeling well, so I will hopefully see him tomorrow or next week. And congratulations to Leah Padilla in Mrs. DeLuca's class. Leah has an older brother, Katie, who's in 2nd grade. Her favorite school subject is centers, and her favorite hobby is swimming. When Leah grows up, she wants to feed the animals. Congratulations, Leah.
Next up for, I believe it's Lafayette School, Mr. Santos Sharma.
Hello, everyone. So if I call the names of students, you can come on up, get your certificate, and then we're going to make our way right up around to the stage for a picture, okay? So for Lafayette School, we are going to start with our first student that we're going to recognize, Peyton Evans. Peyton, are you here, or is Peyton? Not here yet? So Peyton comes from the teaching team of Patel and Reese, and has two sisters as well. So Peyton's favorite subject is having fun, my favorite subject as well, and going on EPIC to do arts and crafts. Peyton likes science too because you get to answer questions, and that is what science is all about, finding the answer to questions. And when Peyton grows up, even at this very young age, wants to become a doctor and help people get them medicine, or a hairstylist because Peyton works on Nana's hair. So for all of the Peytons working on Nana's hair, listen to what Nana says. They always know everything. So Peyton, are you here yet, Peyton? Not quite yet. So we're going to recognize Peyton with a little round of applause. next up is Dulce Demetrio Espinoza, nominated by the team of Cella and Chiampa. So Dulce's favorite subject is math, which is awesome because I'm a former math teacher, and especially adding numbers. And favorite hobby is playing soccer. And when Dulce grow up, wants to become a cheerleader. Are you in the house here, Dulce? Where are there she is?
Second, we're gonna get Mr. Dawson up to take the picture.
Go in the middle. All right, we're good.
Next up from Smalley School is Ashley Picone. Ashley has been nominated by Mrs. Deshenka and Miss Billiford. So I believe art and math are Ashley's favorite subjects in school, and definitely likes animals and feeds squirrels. All right, that is pretty cool because I like to bring peanuts and feed squirrels as well, and enjoys playing with her puppy. Let's have a round of applause for Ashley. Come on up.
All right, I'm marking the floor next time. All right, we're good.
Next up from Smalley School is Marielle Reyes Mejia. Marielle has been nominated by Miss Christian, and let's see here, we have PE and art, physical education and art, which I have to admit does sound a lot of fun, and favorite hobbies is drawing. And Marielle, are you here? Where are you at? Wants to be a doctor when she grows up. Well done.
You see your photoshopping holidays, right?
You did a great job on that over there. You did a great job on that over there. Next up from Smalley School is Jeliani Gonzalez Pesantes. So Jeliani's favorite subject is math because it's interesting. I love all our math leagues that are out there today, very nice. And favorite hobbies are singing, blogging, and drawing. Admittedly, I don't know as much about blogging, but singing, blogging, and drawing, and career plans wants to graduate with a teaching degree and become a 4th grade teacher. I love it. Make sure you come back down, bro. So you come on up. Not here today, so we get our certificate tomorrow. All right. And lastly, from Smalley School, we have Hugo Morales, nominated by Ms. Ciccone. So Hugo's favorite subjects are social studies and physical education, and enjoys playing soccer, hanging out with friends, spending time with his sister, and watching television. And Hugo wants to be a professional soccer player when he grows up and a computer engineer and wants to go to Rutgers, which I love. That's where I went to school. Hugo, come on up.
There we go. That's good. Prosperity, good liberation.
Congratulations.
Next up, we are changing buildings to the Community Middle School. And the first student that we will be recognizing from the Community Middle School will be Allison Mora. Allison's been nominated by her math teacher, Mrs. Giovanna Lamera. Allison is an outstanding student, and according to Mrs. Lamera, her favorite subject is math, but I happen to know Miss Lamera very well, and I think she thinks everyone's favorite subject is math. Okay. However, what I do know is Allison, you're an extremely well-rounded student, enjoys soccer, swimming, and reading fiction, and when Allison grows up, wants to become a lawyer. So Allison, you are well on your way to fulfilling your dreams, and all of us at Community Middle School are proud of you and thankful for letting us be part of your growing up and part of that process.
All right, we're good.
The next student we will be recognizing from the Community Middle School is Andrea Obando Herrera. Andrea has also been nominated by her math teacher, but favorite subjects are both math and ELA, and enjoys the challenge of all the work associated with each subject. The truth is, Andrea is an outstanding student and excels in all subjects. She is a pleasure to have in class and has a determination and a drive to succeed. And not surprisingly, Andrea aspires one day to become a doctor. The teachers and staff from Community School thank you for your efforts and are here to help you achieve your goals. Andrea?
And next up from our high school, Mr. Smith.
Right. Good evening, everyone. Okay, our first recipient of the Crusader Citizen of the Month is Irvin Cazales. Irvin has 3 siblings who all went through the Bound Brook schools. His favorite subject is English, and his favorite hobbies are playing soccer and eating. Can't say that I disagree. In terms of his future career plans, he is undecided on how he's going to proceed in his future, whether or not he wants to go to college or enter the workforce. So, Irving, I don't believe is here. Okay, our next recipient is Leah Mendoza. Leah is a South Bound Brook resident who has 1 sibling. Leah's favorite subject is social studies, which is a woman after my own heart, as I was a former social studies teacher. Leah likes to learn about other states in past U.S. history. Leah's favorite hobbies are baking, softball, bike riding, and shopping. Leah hopes to go to college and become a pediatrician. So congratulations, Leah. Okay, I know Zarek Contreras is unable to attend this evening, but Zarek has one sibling. His favorite subject is Algebra 2, and hobbies are reading, exercising, and hanging out with friends. Zarek hopes to study interior design in the future. And last but certainly not least, Elijah Lewis. Elijah has 4 siblings. Favorite subjects are English and auto mechanics. Elijah enjoys playing soccer and going out with friends and family. And career plans are continue their studies and to be an auto mechanic engineer. So, Elijah, you here? Thanks for 4 tonight. Okay.
Oh, like the Phillies later.
Okay. Okay, at this time, the parents and students of the month, would you come up to the stage to take a picture?
Come on up, parents and students.
Come right up on the stage.
Right up on the stage.
I didn't realize.
What are you doing?
Our insurance will not cover that. It is on camera.
All right, we're gonna be on the end, so you guys can
Tom, you want to direct?
up right now. Yeah, Tom, you're the director.
Oh, boy. No,
Make us look good.
I did not go to theater
In the
school.
middle, and we'll be looking. Yeah, it's probably gonna have to be from an angle, yeah. Hold on, we got a bunch more. We might have to do 2 rows. Tom, how wide do we need to be?
You're pretty good. You guys can keep coming up.
How about we do parents in the back?
Parents in the back, kids in front.
Okay, now I'm out of space.
Squeeze down a little more, parents. Squeeze in.
Camera in, that's the same thing to say. She's-
Right. Here. Okay. I think we've definitely got a great one in there somewhere. 100 I've taken.
We trust you.
Thank God for
Thank you so
digital.
much. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Okay, after the first one, do the agenda one, right?
Okay, moving on with the agenda, we have Mr. Santa Surma, who is going to announce our employee of the month and our district support staff.
Hello again. The Bound Brook School District would like to recognize this month's Educator of the Month from Lafayette School, Mrs. Katie Sandor. Mrs. Sandor is in her 2nd year as a 1st grade teacher in the Bound Brook School District. During her short time here, she's had a positive impact on her students by ensuring they receive support tailored to their specific needs, all while guaranteeing they are met with age-appropriate expectations. Mrs. Sandor has also taken on the role of turnkeying professional development to staff during faculty meetings in order to further support our efforts in increasing student achievement in writing and critical thinking. Mrs. Sandor is dedicated to the teaching profession and to making sure her students are academically, socially, and emotionally successful. She is always willing to help her colleagues and share her resources and ideas. In the words of Principal Erica Clark, we are lucky to have Mrs. Sandor at Lafayette School. Thank you, and please come on up.
Are we doing photos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The Bound Brook School District would like to recognize this month's support staff member of the month from the community middle school, Mrs. Zahara Badar. Ms. Badar is a classroom paraprofessional at the community middle school and is an integral part of the success of the LLD program at CMS. In addition to the many duties inherent to this position, Ms. Badar takes the initiative to get to know her students on an individual basis and is able to work with each one in accordance with their individual learning needs. Ms. Badar understands the social and emotional factors that impact each student. Her patience, understanding, and persistence are key to helping students achieve individual success on a daily basis. Her genuine acknowledgement and praise of students' efforts give them a positive sense of self and help them believe that whatever they do is possible. On a personal note, I have had the great fortune of working with Ms. Badar, both as a building principal, but also side by side as a math teacher at Smalley. Through the years, I can say without any hesitation that Ms. Badar is one of the kindest individuals ever to grace the Bound Brook School District. No amount of words could ever fully express the impact Ms. Badar has had on both her students and colleagues. On behalf of the students and staff from CMS, I would like to thank Mrs. Badar for her contributions and for making the middle school a better place each day.
Congratulations to our district employees of the month.
Dr. Umar.
Okay, next up, Dr. Warmow, who will make our data, our NJ SLA data presentation.
Hello, everybody. So I'm going to give a presentation on the NJSLA testing that took place last spring. For the board, you have my presentation on the agenda. I also gave you a handout, which is where I took the data from to make the presentation. These are the performance summaries that I got from the state. Okay. So first, the scale. Level 1 for ELA and math means did not meet expectations. Level 2, partially met expectations. 3, approached expectations. And then we want our students in 4 and 5. 4 is met expectations, and then 5 has exceeded expectations. Okay, so these are all of our scores district-wide in English language arts. So the first row is third grade. Level 1, the state percentage is 20%. Did not meet expectations, and our district is 30.8, did not meet expectations. So as you go across, level 1, 2, and 3, we did not, our numbers for not meeting expectations are compared against the state. Then in level 4 and 5, level 4 met expectations for third grade. We had 21.8% in the district meet expectations in grade 3 compared to 36 for the state. Level 5, the state had 6% exceed expectations, we had 3. Okay, so these are the numbers all the way through grades 3 through 9, which is who took these tests last spring. Okay, now math is a little different when you get to the high school, because in math at the high school, it's not grade, the test is not grade-based, it is subject-based. So for grades 3 through 8, the test is grade-based, but once you get to the high school, it's subject-based. And for Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry. Now, we do have a small number of students that take Algebra 1 in the middle school. And their scores are reflected here. So again, level 1 did not meet expectations. We're above the state average of 13.3. Level 2, we're at 18.3. This is for the third grade. And the district is at just under 26% for partially met expectations. Level 3, approaching expectations, 23%. The district is at 26%, so we're close there on approaching expectations. And then level 4 and 5, we had 23 and then 5.2, so we had 28.2 third graders in math meet or exceed expectations. And these are the numbers all the way through district-wide. Okay, moving on. So we also had science testing as part of the NJSLA. Although only 3 grades test for science, grades 5, 8, and 11. Same performance level scale. So for this, I'll highlight grade 11 at the high school. Level 1, 46.2% of the state did not meet expectations. District-wide, that was at number 64. We're close in level 2, partially met expectations. Okay. I'm sorry, level 3 is proficient now. So there's one less level here for science. So the state is 20.5, we're 10.1. And then finally, the state in grade 11 is 8.4 in science that are advanced proficient, and the district is 1.4. Okay, now we're going to look at each test on district subgroups. Again, with the state and the district numbers, but we also broke it down by gender, by ethnicity, and academic disadvantage, and then academic programs at the district. Okay, so the state numbers, we want to be above 36.2. Met expectations, this is third grade ELA. We want to be above the 6.2 state level that have exceeded expectations. And we're not quite there. And then you can see how that's broken down for each subgroup. We do this for every test. So this is grade 3, same grade, but now the math test. You see the state numbers across the top. How we compare below expectations to the state. And then level 4 met expectations, and then exceeded expectations. So the state had over 44% meet or exceed expectations, grade 3 math. Bound Brook had over 28% exceed expectations. And then you see how it's broken down per subgroup. Okay, grade 4 ELA. All the way through. Grade 4 math. The state level grade 4 math, over 39% meet or exceed expectations. Bound Brook had just under 15% of our students meet or exceed expectations in grade 4 math. We did meet the state levels in some subgroups though. Grade 5 ELA. The state had just under 50% meet or exceed expectations in grade 5 ELA. Bound Brook had just under 28% of our students meet or exceed expectations.
Dr. Morrell, just a quick question. So I know that for these charts, you've broken down the state versus the district, and then the district into finer categories, which may or may not overlap. Is there a similar comparative number that we could utilize from the state level in comparing those categories?
Subgroups.
The state does not provide subgroup. You actually have all of the state information there. Yeah. But I'll take a look for that tomorrow.
Appreciate it, thank you.
I think that's a really good point, because I think if we're going to break it down into subgroups, the fair thing to do is to compare that, how the state would break that down into subgroups.
Yeah, I don't recall that the state does that, but I'll take a look. In fact, I have my computer. I could take a look right after my presentation.
I don't think it's that kind of urgent, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I think to Lisa's point, if there are different composites in different districts, right? Every district has different.
Sure.
So we want to make sure that we're comparing this apples to apples.
Yeah. My guess is going to be that it's going to be comparative. The subgroups are going to be comparative, as you break it down, with the state for each subgroup. Okay, I want to, if I may, I want to jump ahead to community school, where we are inching closer to the state numbers for met and for exceeded. The state's over 52% met or exceeded, and the district's over, I believe that's 30%. for grade 7 ELA. Grade 7 math. Okay, this is where our grade 8 numbers get even stronger. You see the state met almost 36%. Community school, 34%. And you see that we have more than one subgroup that exceeds in level 4 the state percentage. And then the same for level 5. We're close to the state number. And again, we have more than one subgroup. Well, that comes close to level 5 for grade 8 ELA. Okay, math, we're close as well. Okay, grade 9 ELA up at the high school. Okay, once again, we're down a little over 10%. Level 4 met expectations. Level 5 exceeded expectations. Okay, now subject specific. High school, we do have some students from community that take Algebra 1, so they take this NJSLA test, even though they're in grade 8. So, sorry. So this is how the numbers compare in Algebra 1 up to Algebra 2. Algebra 2, the state does not provide numbers for grades 11 and 12. So that's why you see the zeros under district. The majority of our students in Algebra 2 are in grades 11 and some are in 12. Geometry. Okay, again, the science numbers, grade 5 up to grade 8. And then finally, grade 11 for science. Okay, any questions on NJSLA? So moving on to NJGPA. Sorry for all these testing acronyms. NJGPA is New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment. It's brand new last year. It's the pilot year. That's why the state said it doesn't count. So all of our class of 23 students, current seniors, have the assessment that they need. The assessment is waived for them because it was a pilot year last year. They took it in March. Our second NJGPA will be this March for our junior class. And again, our seniors are waived from the graduation assessment requirement, which is great for the high school because that means we don't have to run portfolio classes. So a lot of our seniors are either in electives or they're not in portfolio, which is nice for them. Okay, notable achievements. The high school added 2 advanced placement courses, AP Biology and AP Government, which brings the total to 11 AP courses at the high school. We also added another AP level class, although it's not an AP. It's the Raritan Valley English 2 to go along with what we already have, English 1. It's a dual enrollment course. We have a lot of seniors in that course. Also for the students that are not traditional in terms of going to college, want to go into a career, we've had advanced manufacturing. That's the second year. We added auto mechanics and mud makeup, which is cosmetology. So we have students who are taking classes dual enrollment classes, and have a solid direct path to careers. And then finally, the best news of all, our SAT score average went up 13 points with the class of 22 over the year before. Okay, these are just some of the intervention strategies that the district is undertaking as we try to improve our test scores. Each grade level analyzes Linkit assessments to identify standards not being addressed prior to the state assessments. We have Extended Learning Academy in grades 1 through 8 with instruction focused only on ELA and math. We have ASI, which is academic support instructors in grades K through 8 in ELA and grades 4 through 8 in math. We have subject-specific supervisors in the area of ELA, math, K through 5 for both and in special ed. We have organized team planning 4 days per week for teachers in grades K through 12. We have building-based skip committees. This year's the 4th year of AVID at the high school, advancement via individual determination, which works with kids specifically on skills that they need for post-secondary transition, specifically for college. We have the high school youth college readiness program through Middle Earth. And finally, we have the BTE Bridge to Employment program at the high school. That's it.
Any questions from the members? First of all, thank you, Dr. Mormel, for the presentation. I know it's a data-dense set of slides. You know, I do know that one of our board goals was to continue to embrace and use data in driving the educational experience here in Bound Brook. I think this is one of the data points that we can use to do one of many of them, so keep it in context. But, you know, thank you very much for walking us through that. So questions from the members?
Approximately how many of the academic support teachers are available? Do we have?
That would probably be, you guys know the answer to that?
I know we have 4 ASI at the middle school, 2 of which are still open positions.
2 at Lafayette, 1 down at the annex. Looks like we have some openings at community. We have 4 spots, but only 2 are filled right now. So we have 2 openings. We're still looking for 2 more.
I have a question on the SATs. Do we have any data that shows percentage of students that are taking the SATs and the average score of the SATs?
So we have all of our students take the SAT on SAT school day. They're all invited to come in.
Okay.
This year, if my memory is correct, we had about 110 out of our 140 seniors take it
Okay.
this year. So that's a pretty good percentage. And those scores are actually going to be out this week or next week, early next week.
Great.
So maybe as an action item for our next meeting, could you either in committee next week or at the next board meeting, just provide that information to the members?
The SAT scores, sure.
Great question.
I have a chart, 5-year trend in terms of the APs, so I can certainly share that with Dr. Freeman to share with the board.
Great.
It's the number of students, kids that scored 3 or higher on the AP exam as well, so I can get that information to you this week.
Great. And just making sure I recall correctly, 3 or higher is the criteria to actually receive credit for college, correct?
Yes.
I think it depends on the college.
Depends on-
right?
depends
Some
on the
some only
college,
take
but-
4s, some take 3s.
Those are the scores you want.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 and above. And our numbers in those areas are going up.
I got 3s on online and Rutgers did not accept. They didn't. I took 3 of them and they didn't take any.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
I mean, you'll see in the trend, you'll see a dip during the COVID years.
Sure.
Obviously, but now the numbers are back up.
And, with we're offering more AP classes, we have more sections, we have more students taking them. So, we have more kids getting that college experience in those AP courses.
Other questions from the members? All right, not so fast though, because I've got a bunch of questions. On the intervention strategy specifically, are most of those new this year or are they carried?
They're not necessarily new from this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we track or measure progress or impact of any of those strategies as it relates to changes in our performance? And if not, is that something we could do?
I'm going to guess that that's something Mrs. Fisher does.
Okay.
And she probably has that information, knowing her.
Okay. So I'm probably just going to refer that one to education committee. We can follow up with committee meetings next week. And then my last comment really is a comment. It's not a question, except for in terms of an availability of data. So most of the matrices that you showed had the state average at the top, I think. The challenge that I would have for our board members and our general community is deciding whether or not that's the lower. Average I think is good, and compared to where we are right now, it would represent improvement, and improvement's important. But quite frankly, I don't think that's where I would want to aim. Right? I want to aim for the top box, the top 1%, the top 5%, and honestly, not stop until we get there. So, again, that's my personal feelings. Not sure how everybody else feels, but in terms of what we compare ourselves to, what we benchmark ourselves to, I want to aspire more. So,
Agreed. I would just say that improvement is slow and incremental, and I aspire to growth. No matter how small, I want to see year over year a change in a positive direction. We're not going to jump kids from a 2 to a 5. It's just not. Having done this now for a lot of years, it's not going to happen. I want to move my 2s to 3s and so on. It is going to take years and years of changing the culture, changing the way we do things to get to where you want to be. Again, your goal is a long-term, 10-year out goal, and I agree with it that's what our goal should be long-term. But I see that as, I see when we get data back and we said we moved, 5% of our students from, what's the 2 called? From 3 to 4, we celebrate that. That's a big deal for us. So it's small. But again, your goal is admirable, and I think it's the right place to be shooting. But I would caution against saying next year we didn't get there. What are we doing wrong? We're hopefully moving towards it. It's just going to take a while.
yes.
And I know, by the way, I see Dr. Freeman's staring daggers at me. I know he doesn't like to, he doesn't want to hear slow progress. I'll have a nice report about us spending some time together. And I learned that Dr. Freeman wants everything done a little bit more aggressive time scale than I do, so.
Well, to support your point, the evidence says that if we're able to identify the kids that need the help and get them the strategies that we have are sound. If we could identify and get the kids the help that they need, then we're going to shrink that level 1. The level 1s are going to shrink and the numbers are going to flow upwards.
Yeah. And as, again, someone who's done this a lot of years, that probably is the most alarming number to me is the 1s, right? Everybody has kids all over, but I find when I look at most districts data that the 1s seem to be a lot smaller than these numbers. So we really are starting, at the beginning. We're right at the beginning now. We have a long way to go.
I think, yes. One thing I think we as a board should think about is doing a deeper dive into what different tiers of instruction look like at each level. So what exactly are the supports at tier 2 and tier 3? What do those look like for those students in tier 1? And what does this data show us about the viability of our curriculum for the needs of the kids that we have in our classroom? And how effectively are we targeting those interventions.
Mhm.
You know, I think if we look at some of these results where we've got 9 or 10% of kids where we would like them to be, and 80, 90% of kids where we don't, I'm not sure that's a situation we can intervene our way out of. I think to me that suggests we need to do a deeper look at tier 1 and the curriculum we're using. Just my commentary.
Well, and again, I think it comes all the way full circle again, because from a board perspective, we're looking at what is our strategy overall, where are we allocating the resources, how are we spending our money, and trying to maximize, the impact that we're having on the district. And while it's aspirational to have as many AP courses as possible, I think in that case, we're talking about moving kids who are 3s and 4s to 4s and 5s, as opposed to moving 1s and 2s to 2s and 3s. So it might not be one of these situations where we just homogenously spread all the resources, but to Sid's point, we have to do a better job of targeting. But again, without the information, without the data, without studying and understanding it, it's hard to make informed decisions. So I think it starts with the data. So again, thank you, Dr. Moore.
All right,
I also
thank
know,
you.
unfortunately, because of COVID, we are missing a large chunk of data right there in the middle to compare all of this to, which hurts us tremendously because we can't see any growth. We don't know where they were. Or unfortunately,
And remember,
we
this is,
also know that there's been what I know no one likes the phrase, but a learning loss that we also have to account for. So there's a lot of challenges, particularly now, that may not have even been 3 years ago, unfortunately.
the results you saw were after 2 years of not taking this
Right.
test.
I mean, just the fact that they haven't taken a state standardized test in 2 years, that's worth points right there. Just the familiarity with the test itself.
Yeah.
Forget the content for a minute, just the test is worth something, for sure.
All right. So any other questions or comments for Dr. Momile tonight? At least on this topic. All right, then I will say thank you for your presentation. Dr. Freeman, back to you. Okay, we're on the board vacancies at this point. Okay, so yeah, I think the only thing that I would call everyone's attention to is that item 2.5 has to do with our current board vacancies, which there are 2. We did receive a letter of interest over the course of the last few weeks. It's been included in the public content of the agenda, so anybody that hasn't already checked it out, please feel free to do that. Unfortunately, the candidate couldn't be here with us tonight to discuss her joining the board, but I think in my own personal opinion, her resume really speaks for itself, and she would likely be a great addition to the body. So we will be entertaining that later in the meeting, as well as comments during public open session. All right. Yeah, so, and I apologize, in the course of wanting to get to our awards and recognition, we skipped over president's comments for this month, and actually they will be vice president's comments for this month, because Mike actually attended the NJSBA convention with Dr. Freeman, Mr. Gorski, Mrs. Fisher, and our administrative team. So Mike's going to recap for us his experience and his findings, and hopefully share some of the information you learned.
Okay, I have notes here, sorry. Just give me 1 second. So I got down there, it was Monday to Wednesday. I did not get to Atlantic City until after work on Monday, but once I got there, I quickly learned kind of what it is and how it works. I really didn't know what I was going to and what to expect. Mr. Gorski did a great job of briefing me ahead of time, but until you're there, you can't really know, honestly. I attended 5 different workshops while I was there. A lot of them had to do with how to conduct a board meeting or how to deal effectively with comments from the public, things like that. I also, and I think the most important one that I attended was on how to recruit and find your next board member, and also once they're here, how to properly kind of onboard them. So those are things that I definitely want to share in committee at governance, and we'll report that out to you. Some of it was not applicable to our community or our board specifically. Most of it was, quite honestly. I did find out, because you meet with so many people from other boards, I found out how unique some of our challenges are, especially in finding new board members, being a small community especially, and our turnover rate and how that affects and how that compares to other districts. So there was a lot of interesting things there. Beyond all of that, quite honestly, this is for the board more than the public. Honestly, I would encourage all of you to attend because if you're able to next year, I know it's hard to get days off. I had to take days off of work. I was, those of you who have been in a classroom know that leaving for 2 days is challenging when you return. And basically, when you leave for 2, you lose at least 1 more when you come back. So I didn't want to do that, but it was invaluable because you also get an incredible insight into the people that you're working with. I mean, to use the phrase loosely, I hung out with Dr. Freeman and Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Gorski, Mr. DeMarco. Nick was there for a while, but he left the day before we did. But just to kind of get to know them on a more personal level, and beyond the personal, we did a lot of bonding that way. But also, we talked a lot just between sessions about what we had just learned and how we can apply it to our district and the goals that we have for our district. And that's why I mentioned Dr. Freeman before, because if you don't know this already, and I'm sure everybody who has met him knows this, he is like on fire, like he's ready to go. And he walked out of one session and he was so energized. He said, I want to present next year. I'm ready. I want to present what we do. And I was like, oh my goodness, you've been here a month. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm ready to go. But you learn so much about these people and what drives them and what they want out of our district. Honestly, that was maybe the most valuable part of the conference, was just spending 2 nights with the administrative team, and it was wonderful. I would encourage all of you to go. Honestly, it was great. So and at the end of the night, beyond all that and the dinners and all those things, you get free time to kind of again be more personal and social with those people and see them as people as opposed to employees of the district, which is great. So it was really wonderful, honestly. I would say if you can find the days off and you can make it happen, get ready, look up the dates for next year and put it on your calendar for sure.
Awesome.
Any
Thanks.
questions from anybody about? Anybody who's there want to add anything?
Excellent, thank you. We are up to committee meeting reports. I'm not sure if there are actually any committee meeting reports.
So we'll be at the next.
Yeah, it's the Somerset County Educational Services. It always throws me off because it's not the one that we control. But
Yeah, I did it
no-
last week.
Okay.
Yep, so we're good.
Very good. So the only reminder that I will give to our chair people is that based on our new schedule, we should be developing our agendas for next week. So if you haven't already connected with your administrative liaison and reached out to your members in terms of topics that they would like to discuss, please make sure you do that. Let's get that ball rolling before we hit the weekend so that the administrative team has as much time to prepare before Monday night's marathon as possible. All right, and with that, we are open to the public for agenda items only. Can you check and see if we have any comments online, Tom?
Of course.
Thanks.
Open or agenda?
Agenda.
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 Start with an up.
Seeing none.
Thank you, sir. All right, and seeing no questions from the room, I think we will move on. So we are up to item 5.1, approval of minutes from 10/12/2022. Resolved that the Falmouth Board of Education approves the minutes for that meeting, regular and executive session. Have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. A second?
Second.
Mr. Powell, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, can you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Ms. Lima,
Yes.
Mr. Minhas,
Yes.
Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Mr. Board President, motion passes.
Thank you. We are up to item number 6.1. Resolved that the superintendent recommends for approval the resolutions as outlined in personnel resolutions under district and high school. This is 6.2 through 6.13. Have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Val. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Ms. Lima,
Yes.
Mr. Minhas,
Yes.
Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 7.1, resolve that the superintendent recommends for approval the resolutions as outlined in personnel resolutions under middle and elementary schools, 7.2 through 7.23. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Zuzita. Any discussion? I guess we got all talked out. Can we do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Ms. Lima.
Abstain.
So noted. Mr. Minhas,
Yes, except for abstaining 723.
so noted. Thank you. And Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 8.1, resolve that the Bound Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in education resolutions under district and high school. This is 8.2 and 8.3. I have a motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Minhas. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bao. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, can you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Ms. Lima,
Yes.
Mr. Minhas,
Yes.
Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 9.1, resolve that the Bound Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in education resolutions under middle and elementary schools. This is 9.2 through 9.5. I have a motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Bao. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Minhas. Any discussion?
The snake went up.
Dr. S, you're gonna have a full calendar coming up. All right. Can we do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Ms. Lima.
Abstain.
So noted. Mr. Minhas,
Yes.
Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 10.1, resolve that the Bound Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in policy resolutions under district and high school. This is 10.2 through 10.4. I have a motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Minhas. Any discussion? I just want to raise everybody's attention to 10.2. We made a late adjustment there because there were two policies that didn't make it through the governance committee during our last committee meeting, but they had been included in the agenda. So just note that those have been crossed out in this final version. And unless there are any questions on that, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Ms. Lima,
Yes.
Mr. Minhas,
Yes.
and Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 11.1, resolve that the Bound Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in special services resolutions. This is 11.2 through 11.4. I have a motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. A second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bao. Discussion? All right, hearing none, can we do a roll call, please?
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Ms. Lima,
Yes.
Mr. Minhas,
Yes.
Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We are up to item 12.1. Resolved that the Bound Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in financial resolutions. This is 12.2 through 12.20. Have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hussein. Discussion.
Thank you for the donations. Also.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Hearing no other questions, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Ms. Lima,
Yes.
Mr. Minhas,
Yes.
and Mr. Board President.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, sir. So we are up to section 13, other matters to come before the board, which we did not have any for this evening, which leads us to new business. I think we would like to entertain a motion.
Yes. I'm going to read the resolution for a new, to fill our board vacancy. Just bear in mind that this is Mr. Gorski's handwriting, so I'm going to do the best that I can. Here we go. Whereas there's a vacancy in membership of the Bound Board of Education, whereas in accordance with state statute NJSA 18A12-15 and board policy number 0143, the board has the authority to appoint an interested applicant to fill the board vacancy. And whereas the board has received a letter of interest and resume from an applicant to fill the board vacancy, and whereas the board has determined that the applicant is qualified and would be a good addition to the Board of Education, now therefore be it resolved as follows. The Bound Board of Education hereby appoints Ms. Therese Sue Hyde to fill a board vacancy and to serve a term as a board member until January 2024.
Do I understand correctly that you would like to move a motion to consider this resolution?
Is that the proper protocol? I now make a motion?
Yes.
Yes, then I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. Any questions, comments, or discussion?
I'm sorry, I just missed because I had to step out from the call. What was the motion for?
That's okay. To appoint,
To appoint Ms. High as our new board member.
For what term?
She would be taking over Ms. DeFazio's term, so she would be until January 2024.
thank you, Mr. Minhas. Any other questions or discussion?
I think it's great, and I think her credentials look amazing, so I'm excited to meet her in person.
Yes, and on a personal note, she happens to be my neighbor. She lives directly behind me, and she's a wonderful human being. Beyond the credentials, she is just the nicest person you will ever meet. So she'll fit in very well, that's for sure. Yeah.
So that means the only two people that were actually interviewed for this board is myself and Rich.
There you go. Okay. Hearing no other questions or comments, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Ms. Lima,
Abstain.
so noted. Mr. Minhas,
Yes.
and Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Please pass our
I'm gonna
congratulations.
send her a message right now. Congratulations.
I appreciate that. So at this point, we are open to the public for discussion. Tom, can you give us a check again to just see if?
No comments online.
Awesome.
All right.
Mr. Sansone?
Hello, everyone. Joe Serma, principal of the middle school. I just want to point out a couple staff members who are leaving us. There's more than two, but two that I've worked with over the past. First, Ms. Langoski. I can tell you several years ago, pre-COVID, there was a significant effort to try to help transition the sixth graders to middle school, and we had many articulation meetings, and Ms. Langoski being a very big part of that, always looking out for her kids. And then in our COVID year, that was the year, if we remember back, we were doing our project at Smalley. So our tight building actually took on the entire sixth grade, and we fit in. And it took quite a bit of care from all of our teachers to make that happen, Ms. Langoski being a big part of it. So just want to publicly recognize all of her efforts for the Bound Brook School District over the years and say thank you. as well as Mr. Edwards, Principal Edwards will be moving on. Having worked closely with him as an administrator for the past several years, good person and worked extremely hard to make Smalley all that it can be. Grew in size from 2 grade levels that year. He only had 2, right? And then now to 4 grade levels. So a big thank you to Principal Edwards. I know I'm speaking on behalf of the administrators in the building and the board members as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, Lauren Paxson, President of the Bound Brook Education Association. On behalf of the association, I just wanted to thank you for passing the 1-year agreement. I also would like to thank you for providing us with a more cordial negotiations team and meetings. And we actually look forward to the next round of negotiations. Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. All right, so at this time, we are up to item 16.1, which is to move into executive session. So resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education enter executive session as allowed by NJSA 10.4-11 under items 1 and 3. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. A second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are currently.
You're unmuted.
Thank you. We are up to item 17.1. As soon as my computer connects. Resolved that the Bountiful Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in approval of HIV cases under middle and elementary schools. This is 17.2 and 17.3. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Dawson.
Yes.
Ms. Casino.
Yes.
Ms. Lima.
Abstain.
So noted. Mr. Minhouse.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Board
Mr.
members are hard to
Januzzi.
come by.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Awesome. At this point, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Can I just say something quick? And I probably should have said it in new business.
Yeah. We'll allow it.
I just wanted to, so next week has been designated as School Psychology Awareness Week in the state of New Jersey. And so I just wanted to acknowledge and thank the school psychologists in the district, as well as in the state of New Jersey, as a school psychologist myself, for the work that we do, and just know that you are all appreciated. And so I just wanted to say happy School Psychology Awareness Week.
Awesome. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for raising our attention to that. All right. Now, I think we actually had a motion to adjourn already.
Motion again.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Second,
Second.
Mr. Dawson. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.